Okay then, confession time. Now, you and I know that reality TV is massive. And I mean massive, it's everywhere. But the confession is that I haven't really watched that much. And I don't think you have either.
No, we've not really got into it. And some of the big ones have really passed us by. I mean,
we know about them because,
Yeah.
The Kardashians, I'm a Celebrity, Big Brother, Big Boss, what it's called in India.
Bake Off.
The Voice.
Yeah.
Used to like Made in Chelsea, or was it Made in Essex?
No, I think it's Towie, right? The Only Way is Essex or something like
I
that.
have seen Strictly Come Dancing though.
Yeah, we all know about the Seven. And
Yeah. So thanks to social media and all, I've seen clips. I know what's going on, but I've never really watched a series.
we've never got into it. And I think the whole idea behind hosting a reality TV show is to find these characters who stand out and people talk about, and suddenly they start trending. Or
The larger than life.
They send Twitter into meltdown. We all remember Shilpa Shetty on
That's
Big
one of
Brother,
the
right?
last. I remember watching that actually. That must be quite a few years ago.
Yeah, but this
So,
week we've suddenly had a concentrated shot of.
I was just going to say, why are we talking about this? Because
Yeah.
we actually watched some reality TV this week.
Yeah, that's right.
So how would you describe it?
I'd say shallow, cringeworthy, a complete waste of time, some might even say, but strangely addictive.
So which one are you talking about? The, Bollywood Wives or The Crown?
Wouldn't you want to know? Welcome to the Shabby And Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters.
And everything else in between.
Now, we're talking about reality television. We're talking about two specific shows that we happen to see this week. And let's start with the fabulous lives of Bollywood wives, because everybody's buzzing about it, everybody's talking about
And
it.
it only came out a day or two ago. So
Yeah.
we were hot off the press. We really can't believe we actually watched it.
Yeah.
The good thing was, plus points first. Each one was about half an hour. So we managed to whiz through it. I think
Yeah.
there's 8 episodes.
Yeah. And let's start with the title first. I read about it first when Karan Johar had a massive, well, not massive showdown, but he had a bit of a tiff with Madhur Bhandarkar, who's another very rated filmmaker. Madhur Bhandarkar said to Karan Johar that you asked me for the title Bollywood Wives a couple of years ago, and I refused to give you the title, and you still went ahead and made a show which with a title which sounds extremely similar. So you're trying to sabotage my project.
Because he makes movies like that. Remember Fashion?
Yeah, he made Fashion, he made Chandni Bar, he made
remember.
Calendar Girls, so many, right? And Karan Johar cannot afford to have any more bad publicity, because in the wake of Sushant's death, I think Karan Johar has already been trolled like no one's business. So I think he saw it in his benefit to kind of promptly apologize to Madhur Bhandarkar, saying that I didn't really want to upset you, but
But he still went ahead with the name.
went ahead with the name. He launched the show, and I think as a result, the series got even more publicity than it would have probably got otherwise. But as anyone can tell when you know what the lineup is, I mean, these are all women who are famous by association. Neelam Kothari, okay, she was a star herself some time ago, but she gave it up years ago. Other than that, I mean, Seema Khan, Mahip Kapoor.
Why don't you tell everyone whose wives they are as well?
Yeah, so Mahip Kapoor is Sanjay Kapoor's wife, and Sanjay Kapoor is Anil Kapoor's younger brother. Then you have Bhavna Pandey, who's Chunky Pandey's wife, now Ananya Pandey's mum. You've got Neelam Kothari, who's a bona fide Bollywood star, once upon a time, now jewelry designer, fashionista, call her what you will, married to Sameer Soni.
I remember him from, I think it's called Mouthful of Sky. It was a TV show.
Yeah, I remember, his face is familiar, but I would be hard-pressed to remember a single film that he was in. Bagban, I think, right? And who's the fourth person? The fourth person is Neelam, Mahip, Bhavna, Seema Khan, who is still married to Arbaz Khan, but I think she has a proper... Sohail Khan, I'm so sorry. I'm confusing her with Malaika. Sohail Khan. But I think they have a very unconventional marriage in the sense that I don't think they're officially divorced, but they don't live together or whatever it is. So they're all famous by association. And, but it was... What did you think of it? What did you make of it?
Well, not having watched much reality TV, as we just said, it was bewitching, it was mesmerizing, it was eye-opening, but it was also so crass and shallow at the same time. I watched it.
Yeah, we watched it. I felt for their children though, because Ananya Pandey is a Bollywood actress herself. Shania Kapoor wants to become an actress very soon. And I don't know. How would you? This is a completely.
I don't want to use the word
planet.
fake anywhere.
Yeah.
So I won't use that word.
Yeah.
But it was obviously, a lot of it was scripted, I think.
A lot of it was scripted. It was meant to be, in a way, a homage to Shah Rukh and Gauri, who are the ultimate Bollywood couple. And
I don't know. And there was a lot of cussing and swearing for no rhyme or reason, I think.
And I think it only highlighted and underlined the fact that Bollywood really is a planet of its own. These women are completely
own bubble.
Live in their own bubble. Although I have to say they seem pretty happy in it. While we might be looking at them from the outside and passing judgment and saying, how can you lead such shallow lives where every day is only about what you wear and what makeup you're going to buy and which sunglasses look. Surely there's more to life than just that. How can you possibly be so shallow? But here they are. And as you can see, clearly loving every moment of it. And I think in a way it's an eye-opener, as you said. For me, I talk about Bollywood, I talk about films all the time. But this really shows you the extremely fickle nature of fame, the extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? Competitive nature of
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of it was hamming up to the camera.
No, it was hamming up.
Karan Johar was involved. It became half the show became Coffee with Karan in the
Coffee
middle.
with Karan. Yeah, that's what it was. God alone knows why he made an appearance twice and why everybody was being like so sycophantic about Shah Rukh and Gauri. And I just felt, I don't know, it just gave you an insight into how insecure these women or anybody in showbiz really must be, because there's always a younger, prettier, better looking person who's, there to take your place if anything should happen to you.
No, but they're not Bollywood stars anyway.
No, they are not. But they just show that it just gives you an insight into how it is, how conscious they are of, and they don't shy away from. They had a cat fight. You've seen Neelam having a procedure in terms of getting talking about Botox and fillers and all of those things. So it is fascinating to watch, but it's one of those things which makes you, I think, look at showbiz with a fresh pair of eyes, because you realize that these people actually have to work exceedingly hard to stay at the top of their game. The struggle in Bollywood begins after you become successful. It is to sustain and maintain that success that you have to really, really play that game.
That's a bit questionable. Do you think their other halves were very successful in their game?
No, they weren't. But then to be called a Bollywood wife, or to be a part of that very strange world which is disconnected from reality, you have to play the game.
Yeah, and what you could tell from the whole thing was that they're very good friends with Karan Johar and they're good friends with Gauri Khan.
And I think the only person who had a semblance of, I'm an outsider who just happens to be an actor and I've become a part of this now big through association, was Neelam's husband Sameer Soni. Because he was on, you could see, he didn't want to dress up. He didn't really want to be there for the sake of being there, just to say, oh, why do you want to be the grumpy one?
And he hated going to parties.
He's a loner. He's the only one who seemed like a normal person, and he wasn't playing to the gallery. Everybody else was clearly there to kind of get their own little 15 minutes of fame on the series. And so it was, I don't know. I have no idea what it that says about.
But it was compelling. You had to watch the next episode.
Yeah, you had to. It was very hard to stop when it says, going to the next episode in 5 seconds. It was very hard to press stop. Also, because they shot it like a film, right? It was lavishly shot. The amount they must have spent on locations and clothes.
One or two episodes were total promotional pieces for the Doha.
Hotels and 5-star hotels and all of that. You're right. But it falls in that. Do you reckon all reality TV is scripted?
No, but a lot is.
A lot is, right? Because you have to nudge it in a certain direction.
Correct.
For it to still hold people's attention. Else, obviously, it's
otherwise,
you wouldn't watch it, right?
It'll be like this show, we're just rambling on.
Yeah. But you know what? Speaking of rambling on and speaking of editing something tightly and speaking of censorship, there's an interesting story that I read recently which said that the nature of dramas and films that are now made specifically for OTT platforms in India, for digital, could change, because the Information and Broadcasting Ministry in India has taken it upon himself to keep an eye on content on digital, and therefore they would be subject to some sort kind of laws and
there'll be some censorship.
Some kind of censorship. They won't be able to get away with everything.
Well, that's going to be very tough for all these digi series that are coming out.
Yeah.
Because they're banking on the fact of being a bit rude, a bit shocking.
That's what, the indie filmmakers are saying, that is what has saved digital. I mean, thanks to the lockdown, people have flocked to digital in huge numbers.
Do you remember when you watched Sacred Games for the first time? We were like shocked with the language. And we didn't realize that that's what happens now. Yeah.
That's what it is now. But that's what they're saying, that anyone who decides to make something on digital now doesn't have to worry about box office numbers, doesn't have to worry about spending money promoting it, all these press launch, poster launch, first look, second look, third song.
You don't have to get A-listers.
You don't have to get A-listers. And that's why you end up making something that you truly believe in, because the only thing that sets your work apart from anybody else's is quality, is content.
I don't fully agree with you there, because some of these digital channels buy any old rubbish. You really have
saying that,
you have
even
to
Bollywood
sift
wives,
through it.
Even
some of it is really dire.
See, I imagine you're right, because even something like Bollywood Wives, I can imagine it getting a lot of eyeballs, though it's by no means the last word in
that is
reality
maybe
TV.
That's what they want. It's getting a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah.
It's pretty controversial. It's a bit marmitey.
Yeah.
People love it or they hate it.
Yeah.
I was indifferent to it. It didn't change.
I felt that
it didn't change my world.
It's
really.
something you watch today and forget tomorrow, right? It doesn't do anything to you at all, but it's compelling viewing. You have to admit, even though you might think that it's shallow.
Like you watched Emily in Paris.
I did.
Emily in Paris, as it's meant to be.
Emily in Paris. I enjoyed it immensely.
You enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Even that got a lot of criticism because it's got every cliche.
Yeah.
It's got the beret, the croissant.
Yeah. It's got every cliche that you can think of.
Thin French women who like to smoke.
Yeah. It was nice. But
you enjoyed that as well, didn't you?
Yeah. It was quite entertaining. But censorship in India they're saying that, it could change the kind of content that emerges on these platforms in India. And I think that'll be something one should keep an eye on. There's something else that you and I, because we live in London, we watched it a couple of months ahead of people in India got to see it, and I believe it stirred up a huge controversy in India. Suitable Boy.
Oh, Suitable Boy.
Talking about a Suitable Boy. So remind us, what is the story again there? What happened there?
Well, recently?
Yeah.
Well, we saw it on the BBC.
Yeah.
And then 2-3 months later, it's gone on to Netflix. And there was a huge controversy because Kabir and Lata, I think they were the characters' names. Was it Kabir and Lata? Yeah. I think there's a kissing scene. And it just caused all sorts of mayhem and boycott Netflix and all. And I think the crux was that they're actually kissing outside a temple. And that got people really riled. All the love jihad stuff came up again.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would have thought we didn't find it controversial at all.
We didn't even know about it. I don't think it just passed us by.
Yeah. In fact, I warmed to it only in the last 2 episodes. When it started, I thought it was absolutely terrible because I loved the audiobook so much, and I'm sure I've mentioned this a million times on previous episodes of our podcast. But towards the end of it, I quite warmed to the characters, and yeah, this wouldn't have crossed my mind at all. But you're saying that it's become a big thing in India now, right? What else?
I mentioned churels just now because when it was shown in Pakistan, it was so controversial there. They had to pull it out as well.
Yeah.
They took it off. They took
I
Z5.
enjoyed churels.
They took Z5 off.
Off Pakistan.
I think.
I enjoyed.
Or that episode or whatever.
I enjoyed churels as well. I didn't think I binge watched it over 2 days. All 10 episodes.
We started this podcast by saying we don't watch any TV. And now you're confessing to watching
it now.
You're confessing to watching a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we started watching it now. Speaking of Z5, there's something very interesting I read the other day. I believe they're one of the first digital platforms to bring their fan base a compilation of digital dramas from all around the world. So even though it's owned by India,
I don't understand what that means.
So they had churels from Pakistan. It's essentially an Indian channel, right? But they had churels from Pakistan. They're going to show you other digital dramas from but all around the world.
Z5 paid them to make that.
Yeah, to make that. Yeah,
so
they're going to champion good content regardless of where it comes from. So a bit like Netflix, almost like a desi Netflix. So that's going to be quite interesting, I think. Coming to The Crown, season 4. You're not watching it. I'm watching.
You're talking about Netflix, but don't forget Amazon Prime is right there as well. We watch lots of stuff on Amazon Prime as well.
Yeah, I can't remember what we watched last. I want to watch Breathe, Into the Shadows. Abhishek Bachchan on Amazon.
I haven't seen any.
I really want to watch that.
See, my problem is that when I hear something is 10 episodes, 12 episodes, I then think, who's going to do that?
No, but that's
if I find out that they're all like 25 minutes, I think that's okay. What I do want to see is I think it's called Queen's Gambit.
Yeah,
because I've just been hearing nice things about it.
Yeah, that people who are saying that
we'd appreciate it.
You would pause The Crown to watch the Queen's Gambit, and then you can come.
Do you know how to play chess?
Not really, no.
But you'll still enjoy it, I believe.
Speaking of The Crown, season 4, I think, in my view, is the weakest. And I don't know if I'm biased because...
I've not seen it, so I don't know.
Because I don't quite approve of Olivia
Are you
Colman.
sure? I would say the most exciting because I feel like this is the period I know. The Charles, Diana, Camilla, Margaret Thatcher.
I don't know, it's doing nothing to me at all.
But they didn't have you didn't get to know this knowledge in your pin back in India. I thought everyone knew Princess Diana and had their posters.
No, we knew Princess Diana, and that's not the reason I don't like it. I just feel that Claire Foy was absolutely fascinating as the Queen in the first 2 seasons. Olivia Colman doesn't come anywhere close to Claire Foy.
That same Olivia Colman who's an Oscar winner.
Yes.
Who's in Broadchurch.
Yes. And I find the storylines far more interesting in the first 2 seasons. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that, it harks back to a time when the Queen actually became a queen. And so it's more her childhood, her father's story, the abdication, and then how the family was suddenly thrust into the spotlight, and how she was so reluctant to play the part that she eventually had to play. But once she became the Queen, from that day, she's taken her duty very seriously, and she's really...
And what is this, series 4?
Series 4.
So which is the series which was all about Princess Margaret, Helena Bonham Carter? That must have been a good one.
That was season 3. Helena Bonham Carter took over from, I forget the name of that fantastic actress who I saw in A Streetcar Named Desire.
Something Kirby.
Vanessa Kirby, yeah. Okay. So Helena Bonham Carter took over
strange?
from...
Didn't you see that? Didn't that Streetcar Named Desire have Gillian Anderson in it?
Yes, who's now Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, wow.
So it was Gillian Anderson and Vanessa Kirby playing sisters. So
can I just go totally off the point for 1 second?
Yeah.
Streetcar Named Desire is one of my favorite plays. I'm a great Tennessee Williams fan. And, everyone's seen the Marlon Brando version. I saw a version of Streetcar Named Desire in Delhi by a bunch of students. It was amazing.
So Hindi version?
It was English with Hindi. It was English. And, so he's playing, I forgot the name of Marlon Brando's character now. Stan something. Polish name.
She is Blanche Dubois, right? And he's Stan. Stanley. Stan. So, what were we talking about? The Crown. So I feel that these stories are somehow not as gripping as the first 2 seasons were. And I read an interview recently where Peter Morgan said that it was important for us to have a team of people work on this series who were young enough to not have their own preconceived notions about all the characters they were researching. And yet, they were not that young in the sense that they were still curious enough to find out more about all the people who are the principal characters in season 4. So Charles, Diana, Camilla plays a very big role. Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, you see, growing up.
So they came with no baggage.
They came with no baggage. So they were really researching. And, they said how fascinating insights into how this series has actually been shot. It had a budget more than what the Queen gets, as her grant. It had a massive budget because it's such a big draw all around the world. And they say that even for scenes even for things that you're going to get a fleeting glimpse of, you see Princess Diana in her wedding gown for no more than 30 seconds. And yet they've spent millions on recreating that dress from the original design and right down to the shoes that she's wearing.
I remember reading a lot about that when I was young. Was it the Emanuels?
The Emanuels. You know what you will find fascinating? Because we live very close to St. Albans, and we've taken the kids so many times to St. Albans. The Abbey, the church in St. Albans, is one of the oldest in this country, right?
It is.
That has doubled up as both Westminster Abbey and St. Paul's many, many times.
And we also live very close to a place called Hatfield.
Yeah.
And I believe Hatfield House.
Hatfield House plays
It's been
a big
used in
character.
this. It's been used in Rebecca, which we saw recently.
Yeah. But especially the episode that I was watching the other day, where it's meant to be St. Paul's, I think. And it is completely, if you've been to St. Albans and you know that church, we know it so well. You will completely recognize it. So that's quite fascinating.
It's an abbey. It's an abbey, I think. Isn't it?
It's an abbey. So yeah, we've been watching a lot of, from not watching much reality TV at all. The Crown wouldn't really be reality TV, right? It's what is it? A docudrama, because it's completely seeped in history.
As you like to say, it's a biopic.
It's a biopic, yes.
It is, I guess, in a way.
It is. And even in the first two seasons, you had that whole Churchill being part of it.
So you're not a fan of this. Basically, you're saying you're not a fan of this one.
I'm not a fan of this part of royal history. Let's put it that way.
Does this show Charles and Camilla in a kind of bad light kind of thing?
It does. And you actually end up feeling sorry for Princess Diana, and you see how she transforms from being a wife who's quite miserable and completely overlooked, and she knows that she stands no chance in gaining Charles's affections because he's already madly in love with Camilla. Go to kind of become the darling of the press and really play to the gallery and milk it. It's quite a fascinating arc.
Sorry, I was saying that I read somewhere that you actually feel sorry for Gillian Anderson's Margaret Thatcher in this when she goes to Buckingham Palace or wherever to spend Christmas or something.
Yeah,
does that happen?
She goes to Balmoral.
Balmoral
to have an audience with the Queen, and she doesn't have the right shoes. She doesn't have the right clothes. She's dressed. She's come down. Apparently, so they have dinner, but before they have drinks. So Margaret Thatcher and her husband Dennis, they're not quite sure how they're meant to dress for drinks. And when she's completely ready and she's gone in, and she only finds herself to be extremely overdressed, but the rest of them are still in their hunting gear or whatever. So it is whatever, fascinating and extremely well researched as well. So
so we're going to watch more reality TV.
I'm not sure. I think it's just going to be once in a while.
When things come to finals and all, I like to be in tune and know what's going on. So I do sometimes watch. I might watch the final of Strictly Come Dancing, maybe. Or the one where they bake stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, Bake Off. You know that the winner of Bake Off is going to be on the cover of OFM, so that you'll know anyway.
Are they?
Yeah, normally they are. But so let's see. I mean, we going forward 2021. If there's more reality TV coming our way.
For anyone who doesn't know, OFM is a food supplement that comes with the Sunday newspaper.
Observer Food Monthly. Should we say bye-bye then?
Let's say bye-bye.
And just a sweet reminder, thank you so much for listening to the podcast, and don't forget to follow us on social media and let us know what you think.
Very quick to say that. What is our social media handle?
Social media handle is Shabby And Man Podcast, and we're on Facebook. I believe we're on Twitter and Instagram as well. Are we on Facebook?
I don't know if we're on Facebook. Have you ever updated it?
No, I haven't.
Then we're probably not on it.
All right, okay.
Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.